Let's see how a team of drivers extract some amazing fuel economy from Kia's new CRDI Sorrento and Sportage. We will also profile a highly successful new Kia dealership in Sydney.
The Kia Diesel Economy Challenge posed a relatively simple task: travel 1,330 kilometres from the centre of Adelaide to Sydney in just one day in a pair of new generation Kia CRDI turbo diesel SUVs without refuelling. That meant completing the trip on 58 litres of fuel for the new Sportage CRDI and 80 litres for the Sorrento CRDI. While the numbers roll off the tongue easily, the task of actually completing the challenge would be a whole lot harder. Leaving Adelaide, the Kia Diesel Economy Challenge would head to Tailem Bend, then up the Mallee Highway to Pinaroo, into New South Wales to Balranald, and then across to Hay, Wagga, and then up the Hume Highway to Yass and Goulburn and into Sydney. The fuel tanks of both the Kia Sorrento CRDI and Sportage CRDI had been topped up with Caltex's new Vortex diesel before the fuel filler caps were sealed by an observer from the Royal Automobile Association of South Australia.
Okay. Yep. Quite tiny, but it's embedded in the lead seal.
The seals were photographed and the photos sent to an NRMA observer in Sydney, who would unseal each filler cap at the end of the challenge to verify the tanks had not been refilled en route. The cars farewell Adelaide in the cool of the early morning, under cover of darkness. As dawn breaks, the realisation there's still an awfully long way to go on a meagre amount of diesel fuel is brought into sharper focus as the cars strike out across the rolling farmland toward the Victorian border. Sticking to a strict regime, the challenge crews plan driver changes which are remarkably like a Bathurst pit stop, but without the speed. Every 2 hours, drivers are rotated to ensure they stay alert and safe on the long drive. The Kia Diesel Fuel Challenge proved that you don't have to compromise fuel economy and environmental friendliness by driving an SUV. The latest generation of fuel-efficient common rail turbo diesels from Kia showed they can go the distance without using vast amounts of fuel. At the same time, they still deliver comfortable room for 5 people and their luggage, and in the case of the Sorrento, a class-leading 2.8-tonne towing capacity. Each of the 2 Kia Diesel Economy Challenge cars was equipped with a 2-way radio and a GPS tracking device from Garmin GME.
Thanks, so take it easy, okay?
To ensure crews could communicate with each other, as well as accurately track the route, distance covered and average speed. To ensure ultimate efficiency, Kia also enlisted the support of Caltex and its new Vortex diesel fuel, which delivers a cleaner experience for diesel users and their engines. For Caltex, however, there would not be much of its new fuel used in this day of ultimate economy. Rain and wind on the Hay Plain forced the challenge drivers to be even more focused on driving efficiently. At the midway point in Hay, the crews took a well-earned scheduled break and a chance to discuss the drive so far, after shutting the Sorrento and Sportage down for the first time in almost 8 hours.
How's it going?
Well, pretty impressive really. We've done 650 k's. We've just pulled up here in Hay for a bite to eat. 680 k's to go, and we've used just over a quarter of a tank. So still plenty of fuel in the Sorrento tank. We reckon we can make Sydney on this tank full.
They were happy that the challenge was on track and the fuel consumption figures were looking positive. With a lot of kilometres still to cover, the drivers were soon back behind the wheel for the run to Sydney. The rain and wind had passed, making it easier for the drivers, but the last 400 kilometres on multi-lane freeway would still be challenging. The route traversed steep tracks of the Great Dividing Range, meaning the drivers needed to balance reasonable average speeds with judicious use of the right foot. Finally, after a full day at the wheel, the Sportage and Sorrento crews arrived at Kia corporate headquarters in Sydney, completing the task many believed impossible. 1,330 kilometres on a single tank of fuel. The results make for fascinating reading. The Sportage CRDI covered the distance on just 58 litres of fuel. It averaged an incredible 4.36 litres per 100 kilometres, or 65 miles per gallon in the old money. Its bigger brother, the Sorrento CRDI, rolled into town with about 11 litres still in the tank, meaning well over 200 kilometres further was possible. Its total fuel consumption was 69 litres, for an average of 5.18 litres per 100 kilometres, or 55 miles per gallon. The jubilant crews were ecstatic at achieving some extraordinary economy from the turbo diesel machines after a long and challenging drive.